Helsing, good morning. I'd like to address a subject this morning that's one of my pet peeves, and I'm sure a lot of guys who've done time as well. Um, it's a matter of disrespect, albeit unintentional in most cases. It's still disrespect, nevertheless. There's the 3 years that I've been out have been wonderful and challenging at times. There's times where I just feel like I just want to explode, from the lack of structure and constructive structure at that that you're used to when you're doing time. Um, what I'm talking about this morning is like, when you're on the yard in prison, whether you're in a shoe or you're on a main line, you know, you're having a conversation with somebody, and somebody else just walks up and interjects in that conversation without having been invited into the conversation. That's a matter of disrespect, and usually that person will get checked. Conversely, when two individuals are having a conversation and somebody's not fully aware of what's going on, situational awareness, they're not participating in that conversation with their full attention, it's a matter of disrespect. Um, you know, Out here, you can be having a conversation with somebody, especially somebody who seeks you out for some kind of counsel or advice, or just a generic conversation. And then they sit there and while you're having a conversation, they start Googling stuff on their phone or playing games or watching videos or ferreting through their emails. That's disrespectful. Now, it's not intended to be so because it's just how people do things out here. Nevertheless, it is disrespectful. And it's a big pet peeve of mine. And I myself have become guilty of it at times because I've become a product of the environment in which I now find myself for the last 3 years. I've assimilated a little bit. However, when I do that, I catch myself and I correct myself. Uh, it's just it's one of those things that's always bothered me. It's always perturbed me. I saw a guy in the joint when I first started doing time. I watched a guy do that to one of his superiors. It was an unlocked time, so people are coming in and out of the yard, and they're unlocked. Trying to hurry up and make the most out of the 10 minutes or so. Get in your cell, get your stuff, and go back out or whatever. And he's one guy's superior's talking to him, and he's blowing him off every time somebody goes by. Oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, yeah, I'll get that later. Or this and that, or he's not paying attention. And it was like 3 weeks to a month later. It was less than a month, but anyway, 3 weeks later, that guy paid for that. They killed him. It was a different race and. But different gang at the top of that. But they lit him on fire. And I remember as he's running down the tier, his whatever he had on his feet or his naked feet. He had shoes on. We used to have winos back then in prison. These canvas shoes, they're black, brown, or blue on top. They got these gummy soles and. We used to call them winos, but you get them in ad seg or the shoe, and then you come back out to the main line to have them. And people try to buy them that weren't in the shoe or ad seg. But anyway, I think he was wearing winos, but he was running down the tier, and he was leaving fiery footprints, down the tier, until he finally jumped over the tier to stop the pain of the fire. That was over a matter of disrespect, such as what I'm referring to right now. Another thing out here is situational awareness. A lot of people don't seem to have that. There's not a lot of awareness out here. A convict, an ex-con, is hyper aware. Hyper vigilant, hyper aware of what's going on. You go into a store, start looking for all the exits. You look for anything that doesn't look right or looks out of place, doesn't look like it belongs. There's all kinds of stuff. There's just awareness, and a lot of people out here just go through life unaware. They're not aware of what's happening. They just don't see that something else is going on with somebody before they just, hey, what's going on? Or hey, did you see this? And they might have just messed something up that you had going on that you were doing, making a video like this, and then somebody come out and just start talking to you, without even being aware. It's a situational awareness. Um, there's a lot of lack, for better articulation of the description. There's a lot of lack of not only self-awareness, situational awareness. There's a lot of lack of respect and personal discipline out here in society. In the joint, you get up in the morning, you roll your bed up, you brush your teeth, you go through your regimented program that you've either adopted for yourself or you just kind of fell into along the way and then cleaned up and honed to your own. But you have a regimen, and you live a very regimental life in your daily existence. And out here, it's not like that at all. I think people think there's never enough time to do everything, but they waste a lot of the time that they have in the day doing nothing. And then say, oh, I didn't have any time to do this, or, I tried to do this, but I didn't have any time to do it. When the reality is they've just squandered a whole bunch of time doing completely worthless endeavors. Now, some things are not entirely worthless because the mind requires stimulation, and if that's how they get it, it's through, the internet or whatever it is, it's understandable. But when you spend your whole day doing that, you're not being productive at all. I myself have been guilty many days when I first got out, and sometimes since, of just watching baseball all day, or sitting in front of a certain place that I like the view of outside, or just not moving, just content to just stay where I'm at. And I was like that in prison too, to some extent. I think the shoe ruined whatever social appetite I might have once had. When I first came to prison, before that, I used to go to a lot of clubs at night and stuff like that. I had a good nightlife, social calendar. I enjoyed that kind of stuff. Used to like to talk to people. I still enjoy good conversation with people, but the SHU, the Security Housing Unit, the whole, the isolation and the quietness and the stricture of doing time like that, it had ruined my social appetite. When I finally got done with 15 years of total of doing time that way, and I finally made it out to a population environment, I found that I didn't have an appetite to really be on the yard. I'd go out there to get canteen. I'd go out there to go take care of whatever services I needed. I would go out there to work out for a couple of hours. I'd come in and I'd stay in my cell. I wasn't a big day room person unless I needed the phone. I wasn't a big yard person unless I needed something out there, physical fitness, PT, and or to see somebody. My time was all put into solitary mind space. I'd read a lot. I had a voracious appetite for reading books on philosophy, psychology, nonfiction genre, self-help books, and I went to school a lot. I continuously went to school. My wife and I would put money away. My wife would pay for a lot of my education, in my later years. Texas A&M, Oklahoma State, things like that. Wherever I go to school to study more and further advance my credentials that I already existed. It was something, I thrived in that. I'd get up every morning at 4 o'clock before, the cacophony of prison life comes to life at 6. And because, once that starts, there's no silence until, 10 o'clock at night again, overall. So it's always noisy out on the tier and outside your door. But I would sit there and I would, once again, regimental. I would get up 4 o'clock in the morning, brush my teeth, make some coffee, and I would crack my books open. I would do my lessons for the day, I'd write my essays, whatever it was that I had to do, prepare for my testing, meet with the proctor, prepare to meet with the proctor for the exams, whatever. I would sit there and I would do that every day. I thrived at it. It was structure, and I really liked it. Without structure, I I don't do well without structure. I'm a structure-oriented person. I don't know if that comes from the military or if it comes from prison or a combination of both, but I'm a structured person. I crave structure. I seem to be wired that way. When I put things together, I engineer them towards that mindset and that discipline, that self-discipline appetite. You know, I not always fair or correctly. I'm very harsh on people that lack self-discipline or structure. Bearing. One of the first things I learned as a young man was bearing. People look at this guy or that guy and say, "Oh, I want to be like that guy or this guy or that guy." So what is it about that guy that you like? What is it about him that attracts your attention and says you want to be like that? But you admire his qualities, his character traits. What is it exactly that you look at that person and say, "I want to be like that," or I want to adopt some of his habits into my repertoire and hone myself upon that whetstone as well. What is it? And it's bearing is what it comes down to. Men don't fear or respect other men based on just it's the bearing, and a lot of it's a front and a fraud. A lot of men learn how to become something that they're really not. Nietzsche once wrote, "Become who you are." I believe that was at home. But he said, "Become who you are." And as an Odinist, the whole idea is to become, and be again. It's a constant cycle of being and becoming. You never sit on your laurels. You're constantly reinventing. You're advancing. You're honing. You're becoming better than the previous self the day before. That's a very Odinic paradigm of self-discipline and structure and being a regimental person. And, like I said, it may be harsh and it may be unfair, especially out here in this environment now, but I'm very hard on people, whether they know it or not. In my mind, in my heart, I ill respect in regard the way some people carry themselves if they don't have a bearing that is worthy of respect. It all comes back to self-discipline, situational awareness, and good self-esteem. Good self-esteem allows you to hold others in regard of deference, respect, or lack thereof permits you or lead you to fail to show proper respect to your peers and people that you're doing things with, your family, your spouse, your friends. That's what I wanted to address this morning because it's been heavy on my mind lately, and I've really been regressing instead of progressing in my attitude towards. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing because it's something that's kept my mind together and my discipline together for many, many years. And I've been getting back to the way I was before I walked out of the joint 3 years ago. And hope I've brought some awareness and enlightenment to people. The bugs are really bad out here. I hate them. And they'll be here till November. I hope I've brought some enlightenment and awareness to the subject. So next time you're having a conversation with somebody or they're having a conversation with you, maybe you'll bear in mind that it's disrespectful to not give that person your undivided attention in dealing with that, and vice versa. This is Dr. Cass Rodenson Kroll, wishing you all have a good day, and I'm thinking about posting more, like I said, and we'll see what happens. There's nothing catchy or flashy about my videos. There's no great intros or anything. It's just it is what it is. I'm raw and it's raw and it's unfiltered. So I hope you all have a good day, and until next time.